So this is the last video lesson. Actually, it's probably going to be the first one for you guys, I think. Actually, last one I'm doing today. Anyways, you don't want to hear me talk. We're talking about simplifying fractions, okay? One of those skills that you've been talking about for years. Want to make sure that everybody's starting on the same page. We all have the same general information. Make sure that you write anything I put on the board, you write it down on your papers. So we are talking today about simplifying fractions. It's one of the first skills that you're going to do in your Khan Academy work in class here. So, a simplified fraction. So, to simplify a fraction, I want to find the largest number that I can divide into both the numerator and the denominator of my fraction. Okay? There are a couple of ways that you can do this. So if you're good with your multiples, this is really easy. If you know your basic multiples, 1 through 12, this is usually pretty easy for you. So let's take an example here. This is the way you're going to do it for those of you who are really good at your multiples, or even pretty good at your multiples. So let's say they ask you to simplify, and you're writing this down, simplify 16, 30s, okay? Again, we know the top number is the numerator, and the bottom number is the denominator, okay? So I'm thinking in my head, what's the biggest number I could divide out of both a 16 and a 30? And so in my head, I'm just going to rewrite it. You should rewrite it under here too, just like I have, so you get all your credit. I'm thinking, okay, well, I know I can divide 16 and 30 by 2, but I'm going to go bigger than that. I can divide 16 by 4, divide 30 by 4, can't divide 30 by 4. So actually, I think my biggest denominator here is 2. So I'm going to start with that. Let me just check. So what I do is, fractions are all about equality. Whatever I do to the top of the fraction, I have to do the same thing to the bottom. That's why I have to pick what's the biggest number I can divide out of both top and bottom. So 16, I say, okay, I can divide it by 2. Got to do the same thing to 30. I have to treat them equally, so I can divide it by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 30 divided by 2 is 15. This is simplified. But now I need to check to make sure that I got the biggest number. So in this case, 8 and 15. Is there anything that I could divide out of both an 8 and a 15? Well, 8 can only be divided by 2 and 4. 2 doesn't go into 15. 2 doesn't divide into 15, nor does 4. So this right here is my simplified answer. Done. Now let's take another example. Let's go do something. 28 over 56. Okay? So I want to simplify 28, 56. You can go ahead and do that right now if you want, and pause it and see if you got it right. But I'm thinking, okay, what can I divide out of both a 28 and a 56? Well, I know I can divide them both by 2, but I swear it has to be something bigger than that. So let me think of the things that I can multiply and get 28. I could do 1 times 28, I could do 2 times 14, 3 times nothing. 4 times 7 is 28. Does 4 go into 56? 4 goes into 56. Well, let's see. Does 7 go into 56? Because that's the bigger number. And 7 times 8 is 56, I believe. Yeah, it is. So, I'm not going to divide both of these by 4. I'm going to divide them both by 7. And I end up with 28 divided by 7, 4, 56 divided by 7 is 8. But look here. Again, like we talked about before, I always have to check. Is there anything that I could divide a 4 and an 8 by? Yeah. I could divide both of those by 4. So I have to still continue to fully simplify. And now I get 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. I get 1/2. Why did this happen? Why did I have to do it twice? Well, the problem was, when I picked 7, this was not the greatest. In other words, it wasn't the biggest common factor. There was a number bigger than 7 that I could have divided into both of those. In this case, it actually happened to be 28, because 28 is half of 56. Sometimes you might not see it though. Okay? That's why you always have to double check once you get your answers. Is there any more that I could divide out of it? Okay? So make sure that you always do that. I'm erasing this. You're not erasing anything. But for you guys, now, I want you to simplify this next one on your own. We're going to say, I don't know, 18/30s. Go ahead and simplify that on your own. What's the biggest number you could divide out of 18 and 30? So pause the video, simplify it. Sweet, I know you totally just paused the video right there because you're an awesome student. Of course. So, hopefully you figured out, alright, let me see here. It's the biggest number I can divide out of 18 and 30. I'm pretty sure that it is a 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 30 divided by 6 is 5. Since I got the greatest common multiple, I'm now simplified. There's nothing I could divide, fully simplified. Nothing I could divide out of both a 3 and a 5. So I'm good. Right? Now some of you might have said, oh, I can divide both of those by 2. Which is good. Now you end up with 9/15. But your problem is this isn't fully simplified. If I look at both 9 and 15, is what else can I divide out of both a 9 and a 15? I know you were thinking to yourself, oh, 3, exactly. Right. So if I can continue to simplify this and divide both top and bottom by 3, I end up with 9 divided by 3 equals 3, 15 divided by 3 equals 5. This is why it pays to get the largest common denominator, or the largest common factor, because you simplify from the first shot. Okay? Do one more on your own. So let's write this last one down. Let's go 20/30. Simplify that, please. Pause the video. Sweet, I know you totally just paused the video. You did all this work. You're loving every minute of this. I got it. I feel you. So, you saw 20 and a 30. You said, all right, boom, I got this. Divide by 10, divide by 10. I end up with a 2/3. There's no number I can divide out of both the 2 and the 3, so I am done. That, folks, what is that? Simplifying fractions.